Hi, welcome to Dwayne's Guitar Lessons. I'm instructor Dwayne Jenkins, and here at Dwayne's Guitar Lessons we are learning all aspects of how to improve our guitar playing, whether that be playing rhythm or playing lead or learning music theory. Doesn't matter, you can learn it all right here. So if that's something you're interested in, be sure to subscribe to the channel, click the bell for future notifications, okay? So in today's lesson we're going to talk about a question that I always get asked a lot of times. My teaching is when you're first starting out playing guitar, what's the best instrument to start on, acoustic or electric? Well, let's take a look at both. We'll make a good decision. Alright, now when it comes to the electric guitar and the acoustic guitar, they're very similar, but they're kind of a little bit different in just the way that you approach them and their instrument itself. So my recommendation right off the bat to think about is, what do you want to play on the guitar, okay? If you want to strum some chords, you know, acoustic guitar would be great for that. If you want to do more than that, maybe the electric guitar, okay? Now your electric guitar is going to be a little bit thinner. This is just the one that I play. The neck is going to be thinner on it. Your strings are going to be a little bit closer to the fretboard, so they're going to be a little bit easier to form your chords when you're first starting out, okay? But it is going to be a little bit heavier, okay? It's going to have your pickups. You're going to need a cable. You're going to need an amplifier, okay? So when it comes to electric guitar, you're probably going to need a few more items than just the acoustic guitar, okay? You're going to need the amp. You're going to need the cable. Although it is going to be a bit easier to play because the strings are closer to the fretboard, and the fretboard isn't nearly, the neck isn't nearly as thick as an acoustic, okay? But the guitar is a little bit heavier because it's a solid piece of wood instead of hollow body like an acoustic. We'll take a look at that in a second, okay? So that's what you want to think about. If you want to get electric, it's going to be a little bit heavier, a little bit easier to play to start with, and you're going to need the cable and you're going to need the amp. Okay, so that's something that you want to think about your budget and what style of music you want to play as well. I'm sure there's somebody, is there somebody who inspires you to play guitar? You want to, I would recommend getting a guitar like they play. If they play acoustic, then get acoustic. If they play electric, maybe get an electric, okay? So those are the things that you want to think about with an electric guitar, okay? The weight of the guitar, the fact that you need a few more items like the cable and an amplifier, okay? And you're more likely going to be using a pick as well, probably with both instruments to start off with. But the great thing about the electric guitar is that it's going to be easier to start off with as far as like forming your chords and things like that, okay? So that's one thing that's great about the electric guitar, okay? Now let's take a look at the acoustic. Okay, now here I have an acoustic guitar, and of course I play left-handed, so my fretboard's going this way. If you were playing right-handed, go the other way. Doesn't really matter, okay? The acoustic guitar is great because it's just by itself. You don't need anything else. You don't need the cable. You don't need the amp. You could still use a pick, or you could play with your fingers. A lot of people do that. The acoustic is a lot lighter because it's hollow on the inside. But the downside is, see how much thicker it is? See how thick that is? So it takes a little bit of getting used to playing, especially if you play an electric, because you're going to see an electric is thinner, so it's going to be closer to your body, and your arm's not going to be way out here like this, okay? So that's one thing you got to think about the acoustic too. It's a different guitar. It's thicker, like I was showing you. You can tell it's a lot thicker. This is a dreadnought. They do make different ones. They make ones that are a little bit smaller. This one's kind of big. It's a dreadnought guitar, but if you want to play acoustic and just play the guitar, the things about the acoustic that's great is you can just take it with you, put it in the case, and take it anywhere. It's a great, the best instrument ever, really. You don't need the cable, you don't need the amp, you don't need anything. Okay, just a tuner to tune it up, and a pick, and you're set to go, all right? Now the downside with the acoustic guitar is that the strings are a little bit thicker, and it's a little bit harder to start off forming your chords, okay? I've been doing it a long time, so I make it look easy, but when you're first starting out, it's hard to hold down the strings and get a good clean sound out of it. I know I had to struggle when I first started playing. I had this it was an old Spanish style guitar, acoustic guitar, and the neck was like a chunk of wood, and it was hard to hold the strings down. It was almost like a log, It's hard to hold the strings down and get a good sound out of it. But nowadays they make guitars, acoustic guitars, where the necks are a little bit thinner. It's a little bit easier to play on them. They're not like the old ones from back in the day. So you could probably find you a good acoustic guitar, has a nice thin neck on it, almost like an electric neck, and be easier for you to form your chords and stuff, okay? So just kind of remember that about the acoustic. It's going to be lighter, which is nice, but it's going to also be thicker. And they also make acoustic guitars that are acoustic electric, like this one right here. It's got a tuner built into it. It's got a EQ built into it, which is really nice. And you can plug a cable into it if you're playing it like in a band or a live setting or something like that. But you don't even have to use that if you're just strumming chords at home, okay? So that's some of the things you want to think about when you're playing, deciding which guitar to get started on, okay? The weight of it, how hard it is to hold down the strings to get a good sound, the thickness of the neck and the back, and the width of the guitar too. You know, if this big width right here doesn't bother you, then that's okay. Okay. And I would recommend really looking at the people who inspire you to play in the first place. What kind of guitar do they play? Okay. All right, so there we have it. Quick little lesson on which guitar to choose when you're first starting out playing guitar, taking interest in it. Like I said, they're two different instruments. They're very similar, but they are a bit different. And what I would do is I would start off with asking yourself, who inspires you to play and what kind of instrument do they play? What kind of music do you want to play? If you're inspired by somebody who plays acoustic guitar, then I would start off with an acoustic guitar. If you're inspired by somebody who plays electric guitar, that style of music, then I would recommend getting an electric guitar. And maybe looking into the kind of guitar that they pick as well. If they play like a Fender Strat, you know, maybe get that. Or if they play like a Gibson Les Paul style guitar, maybe get something like that. It doesn't have to be a Gibson because those are really expensive, but you know, just get that style is what I'm talking about, okay? And I also recommend going to, you know, looking up some reviews online and going to the music store and trying some out, okay? Because that makes a huge difference. They all feel a little bit different. They have a little bit different weight to them. A little, you know, everything's a little bit different on them. So you want to make sure that you try them out, because the guitar is a very personal instrument, and if you find the one that you like, it's going to inspire you to want to play and want to learn to get better, okay? And so what I wanted to let you know too is about this other book that I wrote. This one's called Learn Guitar, Simple Guitar Method for Beginners. And we're going to do in this next video series is I'm going to go through some lessons in this book to help you out with getting started playing guitar. Okay, so the first lesson, lesson 1, was which guitar to choose. This is a great book. I've got it's in full color. I got pictures in there. I've got some chord diagrams. And all kinds of great stuff here to help you get started. So this is what we're going to be going through in this video series is this beginner book on how to get started playing guitar. So lesson 1 was about what kind of guitar to choose. So take that advice, check it out, check out some guitars online, go to your local music store and try some guitars out. And don't feel self-conscious about anybody around you. Just don't worry about that. You're just checking out the guitar and seeing if you like the way it feels, if you like the weight of it, if it, you know, if the neck feels comfortable to you, so that you can learn how to play it, okay? So until our next lesson, you take care. Be sure to check out my website at DwaynesGuitarLessons.com for a lot of free lessons there on all kinds of aspects of playing. Join my email club. And if you have any questions about anything that you're learning, be sure to leave the comment below. Or if there's something you know that I missed in the lesson, just leave it in the comments below so that people can learn about it. Because that's what we're doing here, is learn how to play guitar, Dwayne's Guitar Lessons.